My name's Lee Taylor from ProTax Accounting. So I'm an accountant and business advisor by profession, and as alluded to before, I also act as a finance director for many businesses. So there are so many businesses out there that need the help of a finance director, but in actual fact can't afford the 50, 60, 70, 80 possibly £1,000 to actually have them. But what they can afford is a fraction of that cost, and have someone with a particular expertise that can help come in, maybe create forecasts and the like. Obviously there's a lot of different parts of the role in terms of finance directorship, and I'll go into some of the things that I believe businesses need to do, but they need help to do it. So we split our services into sort of compliance and advisory. So compliance services, which will not surprise anyone, are things you have to do. These are things what a lot of people don't like to do. Tax returns, accounts, all the obligations, maybe payroll. So we run payroll for clients. VAT returns, another bane of our lives, but necessary evil, have to be done. But one of the things I'd like to sort of reiterate today is for sole trader businesses. So sole trader businesses, it used to be considered the easier option in terms of accounting, more flexible and easier, just generally easier to produce the accounts and the tax return. However, some people really struggle with getting their records together, so they'll come to us perhaps on the 28th of January with their bag of receipts all crumpled up. And they'll say to us, oh, hopefully you can get this completed for the 31st. I saw a few eyebrows raised there. But we've always managed to do it, but for those people, life's just about to get a little bit harder, sort of April 24. So they're going to have to do that 4 times a year. So once a quarter, it starts on April 24, so the first quarter is going to end in the 5th of July 24. They're going to have to bring in a quarter's worth of their receipts to the accountant, and they're going to have to process a certain amount of information, and that's going to have to be submitted to HMRC, which is all well and good. However, can you imagine what it's going to be like in an accountant's office every quarter? Okay, it's going to be onerous and troublesome, would be a word I'd use. So what we do at ProTax Accounting, so we specialise in online software in terms of making sure that our clients are aligned with the right type of software. So there's many different types of software out there. You've probably heard them, seen them on the television even. Would you believe accounting software on the television? Who'd have thought? If you went back 10 years, it would be no way. So the likes of Xero, Sage, QuickBooks. In my opinion, Xero has the easiest user interface. There's some nodding here already. But there's other softwares like Cashflow, etc. So, and they're all really good, but they work well with for different people. So we advise clients, and there's some nodding over the back there. So what I would do is sit down with a client, look at what they would like to see come out the other end. So in terms of reports. So for one of my clients that I advised, it was probably about 8 years ago now, they switched over from Sage desktop to an online package. And what they were really interested in was, in actual fact, the reports that come out the other end. And that's how they chose the piece of software that they wanted, so from the outputs. And to be fair, that's what's important. So in terms of outputs, what I've got here, I've got a checklist that I was given. And it's all about helping businesses with tough times. And I read through it and I thought there's some really useful information here. And it leads on from what I was talking about with software. So, there's lots of things that people need to look at. So you need to review your budgets. You need to review your debtors list. Make sure you chase up on overdue invoices. Maybe make sure the terms and conditions with your bank are right. If you've got any finance, maybe you could look at refinancing. One of the most sort of poignant ones on here is establish your key performance indicators and measure them on a daily, monthly, weekly, quarterly, if you're lucky, basis. Things like sales leads generated, stock turnover, debtor days, gross profit, net profit. Now, that's pretty hard to do when you've got a bag full of receipts, okay? So what we're trying to do is educate our clients, educate the wider community, business community into using software. So these sole trader businesses that are going to have to do this on a quarterly basis really need to use software. So there's lots of the software companies are trying to come up with cost-effective software solutions. So Xero has always been good. It's roughly £25 plus VAT per month. But for very micro businesses, they maybe don't want to pay that. I do have micro businesses like a PT, for example, a physical trainer. He started using Xero during lockdown, so his income had gone down to virtually nothing. But he said, look, I'm using a spreadsheet here. I need something better. And his words to me were, it's the best thing I've ever done. Wish I did it earlier. So that's the type of solutions that we can offer and we can advise on. But the caveat here is that we would only advise a business to use a piece of software if it's right for them. Okay, and we teach them how to use it as well. So there's none of this. There's a piece of software, off you go, and because we all know what happens. We either don't use the software or we don't use it properly, and either of those is bad. But going back to the key performance indicators, so many of these that I've mentioned are not so much sales leads generated, but things like cash balance, stock turnover, debtor days, gross profit, net profit can be measured by pretty much clicking a button on a piece of software. So what I'm really looking for from my contacts really are introductions to those type of businesses which really feel that they don't have any clarity. Okay, they don't know what's going on in their business. Then maybe they're a bit worried. I'll happily have a meeting, a free of charge, no obligation meeting, so we can look to see how we might be able to help them or how they can be helped moving forward. So the types of businesses I work with range from people in the trades right the way through to businesses that turn over maybe £1-2 million, maybe more, and everything in between. But typically our clients are owner-managed businesses. They're the ones that need the help, maybe family-run businesses. To help narrow that down a bit more, labour-intensive businesses. So, for example, hair salons. Hair salons, typically 1 or 2 business owners. They've got some staff. They're normally VAT registered. They're normally not so worried about record keeping, although they're quite good on the sales side. Everything else can not take as much priority. So those type of businesses. Manufacturing, I know manufacturing is not dead in the UK. I know it's down from what it was probably 20, 30, 40 years ago, but manufacturing type of businesses, they're quite labour intensive. So that's just a broad brush sort of summary of what we do, how we do it, and what we're looking for. So all of the services we offer in terms of compliance or advisory are relevant to all businesses, although not every business will take every service, and I totally appreciate that. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. If you've got any questions, very happy to answer them, as long as they're easy ones. And if not, I'd love to have a one-to-one with people and get to know them better. Thank you.
Lee, just going to say, in terms of area of location of clientele, what areas do you cover with customers?
Well, if I took you back three years, I remember downloading Zoom onto my PC and onto my laptop and thinking, well, that seems good, but I'm never going to use it. It's never going to work for what I do. But that is, in actual fact, because of lockdown, it's actually opened up pretty much the globe. So every month I meet with a client in France. Unfortunately, I don't go out to France, and where he lives is absolutely beautiful, but I do see it via Zoom. South Africa, Australia, Colchester, not quite so glamorous maybe, but Chelmsford. I like to meet clients face to face, but it's often that's not possible for many reasons, whether it be geographical or time constraints. So I'm open to the whole globe essentially for advice.
Any other questions for Lee at all?
Just, can you just remind us, please, of those key dates you said at the start of this, when MTD is coming in for, well, everyone now, isn't it? It's been gradually working its way down the hierarchy.
Yeah, so it's already in for people who are VAT registered. It's there. We're in it. Okay, and there's a new penalty regime, which is another presentation. So, but yeah, we need to watch out for that. But for income tax for non-companies, so non-incorporated businesses, that comes in April 24. It starts. So if you think about it, it starts on the 6th of April 24, the first quarter, 5th of July.
Okay, so
Yep, get that right.
Time to get out plastic bags and receipts.
Oh yes,
and
yeah.
What about landlords? Because landlords MTD is coming in as well, isn't it, Steve?
Yes,
Is that
for,
the same bundle or different?
absolutely. So if you've got gross rents of £10,000 or more, now that's going to be a, yeah. So it's 10. But to be honest, you may as well do it. Certainly people that are running a business, a sole trader business, and they're also landlords, you've got to do it for one, so you may as well do it for the rest. It makes sense to me. Just get it sorted. And there's lots of solutions out there. You know, you could have a look at something like a metal banking app, METTLE. It's a bank that's, or an app that's backed by NatWest. That's pretty good for keeping records. They offer free software as well, free agent software. You know, I don't get paid for, you know, recommending them, but that can work for some people. So perhaps you don't want to be paying £25 a month plus VAT for your landlord business, if you want to call it that, and your sole trader business. But for limited companies, it's maybe 2 years after that, which is quite ironic really, because generally speaking, limited companies have better records, and the most of them are using, should have, and are perhaps using software already. So yeah, but yeah, April 24, but I would say to people, look, get this sorted now. You know what's going to happen. I mean, I would hold my hands up and say, look, if you go to someone last minute, well, here's a good example. So I heard on, or saw a clip on social media, someone advising about insurance. Now, I don't advise on insurance, so this is their advice. You know, don't leave it till last minute with your renewal. You know, do this sort of 20 to, I think she said 22 to 26 days before your renewal is the optimum time. Now that makes sense, doesn't it? So if you go to your accountant in April 24 and they're absolutely rammed, they don't need the work. They're going to say, well, it would have been X, but it's going to be X times 2 for the fees. So get in there early. You know, I'm not saying you're going to get a really fantastic deal, but it's not going to be rushed. It's going to be done properly. You're going to have proper consideration.